Thank you very much for this introduction, dear members of the Parliament. Thank you for this kind invitation here to this hearing and for the possibility to address some perspectives of affected children at European borders and respective legal challenges. For the last 10 years, I've been working together with colleagues from the European Centre for Constitutional and Human Rights on pushbacks on and violence against refugees and migrants at external borders of the EU, representing victims in national proceedings before the UN Human Rights Committee and the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child, as well as before the European Court of Human Rights, as already mentioned. One of these cases is the complaint of Sami Barkal. It concerns his irregular refoulement by Croatian police officers across the green border to Bosnia and Herzegovina in October 2018. At the material time, Sami Barkal was only 17 years old. When he managed to come to Germany at a later date, he was appointed a guardian and finally be able to apply for asylum. In April 2019, Sami Barkal filed a complaint against Croatia before the European Court of Human Rights, which is still pending. Unfortunately, he cannot be here with us today, but he prepared a video statement for you that we can now watch together.
Hallo, mein Name ist Sami Barkal, ich bin 22 Jahre alt und lebe seit 4 Jahren in einer kleinen Stadt in Deutschland. Leider kann ich heute persönlich nicht vor Ort sein, aber ich bin froh, hier sprechen zu können. Ich bin in Syrien aufgewachsen. Als kurdische Dörfer in der Nähe von zu Hause angegriffen wurde, bin ich erstmal in die Türkei geflohen. Ich war damals 17 Jahre alt, allein und ohne Status und unterstützt. Also bin ich weiter in die Richtung Europa, um dort Schutz zu finden. Ein Bruder von mir lebte dort. Ich war etwas einen Monat lang in Bosnien, das war 2018. Nachts musste ich auf einem schlammigen Feld schlafen und essen konnte ich nur von den Ehrenamtlichen bekommen. Ich wusste, dass Kroatien über die Grenze lag, aber es machte mir Angst. Ich war immer noch alleine, ich hatte die Wunde und das Blut der anderen gesehen. Von den Schlägen der kroatischen Beamten. Aber es gab für mich keine andere Wahl. Also ging ich mit einer anderen Gruppe von Syrern durch die Wahl nach Kroatien. Wir wurden von Polizeibeamten angehalten. Sie haben kaum mit uns gesprochen. Sie haben uns durchgesucht und unsere Sachen weggenommen. Dann haben sie uns in einen Lieferwagen weggefahren. Danach warteten Polizisten mit Waffen auf uns. Sie zwingen uns über die Grenze zurück nach Bosnien. Ich konnte es nicht verhindern und nicht nach Asyl fragen. Ich konnte wenig Englisch und ich kannte meine Rechte nicht, wie ich jetzt tue. Deshalb habe ich meinen Fall vor dem Europäischen Gerichtshof für die Menschenrechte gebracht. Ich weiß, dass es nichts ändert, was mir und Zehntausenden passiert ist. Viele haben Pushback erlebt, die viele brutaler waren. Ich hoffe, dass wir nicht umsonst gelitten haben. Ich hoffe, mein Fall verändert etwas für die, die jetzt an der Grenze sind. Gegen Flüchtlinge und Migranten wehrt sich Europa mit Drohnen, Hunden und Gewalt. Es ist grausam. Viele werden misshandelt. Ich verstehe, dass es Grenzen gibt. Aber warum Filter? Warum die Menschenrechtsverletzungen? Wir hätten alle gehört werden müssen. Ich danke Ihnen.
He and his fellow travelers on that day were at no point treated individually, let alone given the opportunity to apply for asylum or to object to their first return back into the dire situation in Bosnia. The core problem we see here is the systematic denial of member states to individually register refugees and migrants apprehended on their territory. This is consequently linked with the lack of a proper age assessment to identify the children among them. The two go hand in hand. Sami Barkal's case insofar stands as an example for the ongoing challenges many unaccompanied minors face. For the broader picture, I would only like to refer here as an example to the detailed study of Save the Children from last year. Most recently, colleagues from Bulgaria reported of similar developments at the border to Turkey. Dear members of the Parliament, I cannot go into the legal situation here, of course. Much of the EU framework is presented in the Handbook on European Law Relating to the Rights of the Child, published by FRA, the Council of Europe and the ECHR. In addition, however, I would like to point out that precisely the standards of protection and the state's obligations in dealing with unaccompanied minor refugees at the border have been clearly established in a landmark decision by the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child in 2019 in the case of DD versus Spain. The case concerned the immediate, informal and unregistered return to Morocco of a 15-year-old boy from Mali after he had previously climbed the border fence at the Spanish-Moroccan border in Melilla, a well-known practice in Spain for decades. The UNCRC found in DD's case that, first, the entire lack of an identification of any assessment of his situation before his deportation and of any opportunity to object to his treatment violated the best interest of the child, which, as you all know, is the guiding principle and the fundamental right under the Child Rights Convention. Second, the failure to provide special protection and assistance to him as an unaccompanied minor and to assess his specific vulnerability before returning him also violated Article 20 of the UNCRC, which entails specific protection for children separated from their families. Third, the complete absence of any risk assessment to prevent irreparable damage from him as a child before deciding upon his deportation violated additionally Article 37 of the CRC, which is the equivalent to Article 3 of the European Convention on Human Rights. And fourthly and lastly, the way in which his deportation was executed. DD was handcuffed and returned without being heard and without any legal or translation assistance constituted itself prohibited treatment by the Spanish authorities, by the Spanish officers under Article 37 of the UNCRC. You will find further details about this case in the handout that I provided to you before this hearing. Dear members of the Parliament, this decision is straightforward. It defines clear legal boundaries and sets protection standards for all member states and the European Union. It is therefore first and foremost important to ensure that these standards are fully and effectively enforced everywhere in Europe. Thank you very much.